Hello and welcome everyone to another exciting session of Platinum Watch. I am your Dungeon Master Walkman EXE. We're doing things a bit differently today. So for the next few episodes, we will be doing kind of like more or less mini sessions. These will still count as full-length episodes because like they are happening concurrently as the party has split up and decided to tackle various objectives on their own. There's a lot of things that everyone's getting ready for in the wake of like the coming Clan Wars and the attack on Yirion. The party's just trying to tackle as many bases as they can to kind of prep for the inevitable conflicts they're going to have with Eclipse as we enter the endgame. So today, this session, and again, another thing about the benefit of this session type is that it allows us to focus on specific characters and like their development, as well as like bonding with other members of the party that maybe they don't like interact with a whole lot on the regular, or if they do interact with on the regular, we can build more cohesive bonds. So starting off, we've got our players for the day. We have Red Beast 13 playing Avok.
Hello.
And Vexatal 24 playing Yuza.
That was the sound of Avok coming back to life again.
Just
I went woo, but my mic apparently didn't pick it up, so that's why there was that long pause. Was like, did they not hear the woo?
We did not hear the woo.
No.
There were no woos to be had.
Avok was wooless.
There are no woos in death.
So yeah, I just for the sake of like not having to do the same recap for 3 separate like mini sessions, which one of y'all would like to handle the recap for a luck point?
Yuza, do you want to take this? I get the feeling you may need it, given where we're going.
Sure, I'll do it. Sure, I'll deal with this. I haven't gone back and taken notes yet, but let's get this shot.
Off memory, come on, off the cuff, let's go.
Off the go. Yeah, alright. Okay, so we returned from the Shadowfell, and as any great D&D session, we had a meeting to do, in which news was broken. A lot of it bad. One of them potentially deadly for everyone involved. In which, our good old, Gallus Margulis. I'm just realizing how much fun that last name is to say.
I know, right?
Revealed to everyone the shocking secret that he is in fact still Avok. If you had that in your bingo card, congratulations. Rita was less than thrilled, but also insanely thrilled at the same time. So we put that on the back burner while she cools down, if that ever happens. And went to do various things. Merrick went to check on his tank. His seemingly been completed, and now we're just wondering how this thing will hold up in the hells of pandemonium. And then we explored demiplanes. We saw the mansion that was the legacy of Trapidothlin, monetarily speaking. And then
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Yeah. Then Yuza showed everyone the demiplane she was born in, and I think we brought the container back with us.
Put some of the file. Yeah, I think Meredith eated it.
I think
Meredith carried the whole thing out.
Yeah, I think Avok was like, let me get a sample of this fluid just for study, and Merrick's just like, hurt, and he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Avok was like, I'm trying to use brains now. Okay.
Yeah. Eric got a vision inspecting it regarding Yuza's history, in which he saw her parents, quote unquote. I guess I can stop. I guess I can stop putting the quote now.
I mean, in a way, you have 4 parents, 2 moms and 2 dads.
Yeah.
Exactly. Modern America.
Suck it, Republicans. Yuza decided it was finally time to try and see where they were. Well, the tieflings anyway. Started with dear old dad, and it turns out he's chained in a dungeon somewhere. Apparently for being a good person, I guess.
That does get you imprisoned in some parts of the world.
Yeah.
The most heinous of offenses.
Yeah. But his words to her immediately made her collapse in a ball of tears. And I think that's where we ended.
Yeah, we good job, good recap. You get a luck point. And
Avok also called in the eyes of truth, and now we have spies working for us.
yeah, now you
Oh
have,
yeah, your little note pocket dimension.
you're the note pocket dimension.
Easily the most useful magic item I've ever had.
The one you use consistently, at least. I'm not salty that I gave you like a legendary magic item and you never use it.
For the longest time, I've been trying to go low profile. Like I've been trying to be like very subtle because I didn't want to reveal Avok and like Eyes of Truth stuff. But now that's all out the window. Avok's like, all right, I'm going to be sending text.
Yeah, when you did that, I was like, did I just make him use a one-timer thing?
Nah, I mean, like, I'm not actually salty about Brune's Knuckles, because you use Mammon's Fang a healthy amount, so I'm actually pretty okay with that.
No way, Bruce's Knuckles are now currently attuned.
Bog. Yeah, so, putting together the various threads going on, the party decided to split to tackle many different objectives. Allowing them to kind of... And one thing as well is we might, like, since we were planning on having that discussion in roleplay, we might do that at the start of next, like, Sunday session when we have next Platinum Watch, is just, like, pick up where we left off here and then, like, do the thing, so that'll be, like, kind of like a flash backwards in time.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Anyway, so
Avok, that was yesterday.
What?
as the party decided to split to tackle various objectives, as with the coming threats, there are many things to tackle, such as for the Dosslin siblings heading to the Kefren Isles in order to meet with their sibling Corian Milanus, and then for Merrick, he wishes to head to the lighthouse in the Astral Sea to seek additional aid and information from the scribe. And for Avok and Yuza, who have just found a lead on Yuza's father and put the Eyes of Truth to work in Kraggzeit to go ahead and start monitoring and intercepting incoming threats, you all have, using the power of teleportation in this fist I found, snuck behind enemy lines back into Kraggzeit, specifically to the domain of Kilkias Pavis, where his mage tower is located. So now for a little bit of description. So Kilkias' realm is a bit different. A lot of the area surrounding the city in which his tower is held is mostly strip mining territory. They are mining up magical resources and other such things as well. They are using druidic magics to try and like restore some of the land that's been destroyed by the last war. So kind of what will happen is like they will run through the strip mines and like tear up the land and like harvest all the resources, and then the druids will come in behind it and try and like restore the land, purging it of like the wild magic and like trying to also like restore some of the land and vegetation and undergrowth. And it is a long process, naturally. So the city in which his tower is actually held, the city of Underspire, is a large crater-like impact into the side of Kraggzeit's once lush countryside, which now has like a reverse-tiered system where like on the upper ring are kind of like basic laborers and workers that work in the various mines in the city. Down to the next tier are various alchemists and scholars who do research into the various minerals, plants, herbs, and other alchemical like formulas that can be found in the surrounding area. And then the very bottom ring is where all of his wizards dwell and reside around his mage tower. And the last thing, which I forgot to mention, is that the druids have restored a portion of vegetation around the upper ring of the city. There's like a little ring of like trees and other like undergrowth up there, where a lot of like herbs and various medicinal plants can be harvested. It seems like the area itself actually has a wide variety of herbs and medicinal plants that would normally not be found in the same area. As certain druids are stationed around the ring, constantly performing various spells of climate control to ensure that like various plants can grow and foster here, even if it's not their natural environment. And at the very bottom of this ring-like city where you all now find yourself having infiltrated is a large kind of like domed structure that seems to have a lot of like arcane runes carved into the side of it against detection and scrying. But additionally, they are also, you recognize like transmutive runes that would normally convert the surface of a substance. So if either of you would like to make an investigation check, you can find out what their purpose is.
I don't know why my brain just didn't put together that I might need dice for this.
I'm just, I forgot to actually update my feats, so I just added them in. I took tough.
How dare you?
As in multiple?
Yeah, because there was the level 1 feat too that we added.
The free feat as well as the
Avok took level 14 into monk, so he has a feat.
Ah, okay.
Avok took tough, rando.
No.
God damn it! Now I don't have more hit points than Ava.
Also, I mean level 12 monk, not 14. I'm waiting
You're
for
level 14 character, yeah.
Yeah, 14 character with 15 character.
I love how just absolutely tanky and chonky like the like most of the party now is.
Oh, yeah, you get this.
And then Yuza. And then there's Yuza who's just like, I have less than 100 hit points.
I mean, that means you get to throw mean shit at us.
You think I would have taken tough considering how many times, considering the power word kills I just went through.
That's fine. You could take it at next ASI. It's not important right now.
I mean, how many players can say that? Like, man, we just went through an adventure where I got powered killed like 6 times. What? My investigation
only got hit by it once, but
14 for Avok's investigation. Should have taken.
Oh, that's so low.
Yeah.
And for Yuza?
Oh, I meant mine was low. That's a 13.
Okay. Luckily, this was not a hard DC. I will say you don't know what the you don't know the exact like formula of the runes. That's like unknown to you. But I will say that like based on context clues, you can infer it. The dome seems to be carved like from the same stone that like the surrounding like dome is all made of, or crater is all made of. However, when you kind of like test the stone, which should be like normally like a regular kind of like sandstone, like easily like chipped or scuffed, it doesn't come off. In fact, it kind of has the same hardness as Tala's armor. As it seems like Kilkias has found a way to turn this dome of like earthen sandstone into essentially adamantine.
Why am I not surprised?
So you're saying we shouldn't punch it?
And you're welcome to it.
You could try, but
you're welcome to
probably wouldn't work.
And the last detail of the dome is that there is a set of very large double doors that are also made of stone and seem to have an inscription around them written in Draconic.
Okay, let's see. I have like 20 languages. Do I have?
I have common, giant, August Thieves can't. This is.
I do know Draconic.
All right. It simply just states, beyond this threshold lies a menagerie of traps designed to test one's transmutative and creative mind. Only those with the greatest skill at changing the world will be able to seize the prize within.
Which, by the way, Walker, I came attuned to the transmutation amulet.
Good. You will probably need it. And as
so I do not have my Ring of Spellstoring.
As you read the inscription, do you read it out loud, or do you just just relay the information to Avok after you've read it?
Is there anyone hanging out around this tower?
Nah, a lot of the scholars and a lot of the mages are just kind of milling about, but everyone seems to be giving the tower a wide berth. So you guys are drawing some attention by the fact that you guys have just kind of strode up to it. But the one thing you all have noticed with Kilkai's tower is that everything kind of runs on a schedule. In this town, everyone has a job to do. Everyone has a, that it's a very lawful place. There is a lot of automated process here. And so while people will stop and kind of look at y'all and be like, that seems kind of suspicious, they're also just like, oh shit, I gotta go do my job. So they'll just
I can cast disguise stuff to look like Kilkai's if you want.
I mean, if you...
That would probably just invite more trouble.
Probably right.
Avok, behold, it is I, your master, returned from the Shadowfell.
Besides,
Thank God, we need you to go over these documents.
We need you to review these quarterly earnings reports.
But we're making too much money. Donate it.
They're just
donate to who?
What did you say,
druids.
sir?
The druids.
Give too much money. Donate it. Also, don't ignore the fact my voice is different. Got punched in the throat by a half orc.
A really cool half orc.
Yeah, with a mohawk. Don't know how he grew a mohawk. He doesn't know how to grow hair. Don't look at me.
Oh yeah, it's
so yeah. What do y'all decide to do?
I'm go. Avok looks to Yuza. I'll follow your lead. Whatever we decide to do. We gotta get in there.
I think it's pretty obvious how we're supposed to get in there.
And there's no windows or anything I can send Ichabod through?
There are no windows or openings. It is a completely sealed dome.
Alright.
We're supposed to make a door. So, I will tap into this. I will tap into the amulet. And, what the fuck is it called? Oh, I thought it listed the name of the ability, but no. It's just the matter reconstructor ability.
Sure thing.
Oh! You have access to the Transmutation School.
I mean, there's a lot more to it than that. Yeah. That's so what form would you like the door to take?
Sort of an
doggy door.
It's just what form would you like the door to take? Open. Okay.
Just sort of like an archway.
Yeah, sure thing. As you channel the power of the amulet and begin to rework the matter and structure of the door, you find that so the way the amulet works for as you know, is that it more or less gives you access to abilities that allow you to alter how you would normally like channel magic, but additionally, you know that through transmutation, it's more than just the ability to convert matter into other matter. You can also rearrange like how it is structured. So for you to just like want to build this archway, you realize that the easiest path to do this is just move the stone tablets that make up the door, and just return them to the earth. So as you like look at this archway with the carved draconic runes, like this giant set of stone double doors, you just kind of like clasp the amulet, move your hand, and the like door literally almost like liquefies and just sinks down to the ground.
By the way, speaking of which, I would have, considering I have to make these beforehand,
Yes.
Avok, what kind of transmutation stone would you want?
Me?
Yes, because the amulet can let me make up to 3 of them.
And the abilities are you can get dark vision out to 60 feet, you can get proficiency on constitution saving throws, resistance to a certain type of damage, and then I believe the last transmuter stone has something to do with
It's a 10-foot speed increase while not encumbered.
Yep. So you can get the zoomies.
Well, one of my feats I took was Eldritch Adapt for Devil Sight, so I'm good on the dark vision.
I figured.
I think I
Also
will...
Shadow Monk.
Exactly. Like, if I have dark vision right now, but once I'm back as a Goliath, I lose that, because, you know, only a half orc.
Yeah.
Except for that you still have Devil's Sight, so when you become a Goliath, you don't lose it.
No, that's why I took the feat.
Okay, never mind.
That's the justification.
Do you foresee any type of particular resistance being useful up ahead? If so, I'll take that or the concepts.
If anything, probably not an elemental version.
Fair enough.
I'm foreseeing a lot of bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing.
I forgot, I have Elemental Bane. Would it be possible for me to attune to fire before we came here?
You can attune to fire, yeah.
Alright, then I'm currently attuned to fire resistance. And I'll take a con buff. Con save proficiency. Con stone.
I also have a con proficiency.
Is this attunement?
Oh, it's just a transmuter stone.
Okay, so I don't have to attune to it or anything.
Oh, you just have to have it.
Okay, cool. Put it in my inventory as con stone.
Well, mine will also will have a con stone as well as a speed buff.
All right, sounds good. With your transmuter stones,
considering I'm already fire resistant.
Oh yeah. With your transmuter stones in hand, and as you proceed through the threshold, almost immediately after you step through, the door resumes its previous shape, and you all are in a pitch black, dark.
Oh wait.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Each stone must possess a different effect, so I can't have proficiency in concept. So, I guess I will get resistance to
more fire.
Let's go cold.
All right, so you're resistant to fire and cold, and you have a 10-foot movement increase, and then Avok has proficiency in con saves. Yeah, so as the door resumes its shape behind you all, the room is pitch black, dark for a second before various blue crystals begin to light up on the wall, casting light around the entirety of the room. And you realize where the town gets its namesake, as well as the strangeness of not seeing a upwardly vertical tower. You see a downward spiraling staircase in the floor itself, leading further underneath the earth, as it seems that Kilkias' tower is actually in the ground.
That's about what I expected.
He's fucking trolling us.
I mean, why would a transmutation... Never mind. Let's go. You'd rather not waste time explaining this.
It's like, listen, transmutation people like to change shit, alright? So Earth... whatever.
So having it go into the sky where there is no matter to manipulate would be pointless.
Absolutely. And as you all head down the spiral staircase, it leads to a large cube-shaped chamber. So I guess I'm just describing a room. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. You enter. You know what? No, it's a cube within a cube. You're in this room, and there's a cube in the middle of the room.
Giant cube hallway.
Fuck, man.
Hallway cubed. No, it's you find yourself in a large chamber with a large. It is a large cube sitting on top of a pedestal, but it is covered in a wide variety of runes that all seem to say different things in different languages. And it seems a little nonsensical. Additionally, for like, I'd say for Yuza, this strikes you as odd because for a transmutation principle, it seems like having a gigantic cube that would require like a divination spell to translate seems odd. Until you notice that they are a large, they all possess a large group of interlocking like rings that allow the various faces of the cube to move, and you realize you are staring at one of the world's largest Rubik's cubes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm in.
It's fine. We're never more than 26 moves away from finishing it.
Like me, IRL, I love Rubik's cubes.
I'm glad.
Alright, you go for it then.
Okay. I'll do it. I'll touch the Rubik's cube of death.
Sure thing.
It won't budge.
Yeah, as you touch the Rubik's Cube, it begins to light up. And it seems like the interlocking rings separate and allow them to be moved.
Right. Can I attempt to solve it?
You certainly can. I will say this. The languages scrawled across it are Draconic, Giant, Primordial, Dwarvish, Elvish, and Sylvan.
I do know Giant.
Say those one more time.
Hold on, I'm trying to make sure that I've got this right. There are 6 sides to a Rubik's Cube. So,
yeah.
Yes, there is Draconic, Primordial, Giant, Elvish, Sylvan, and Dwarvish.
I speak 4 of those. 4 of those.
Brightside, all the script does, like, they may be different things, but they are all similar, so even if there's something that you can't read, you can still, like, put all the runes together of that type. Like, it's not... It would just mean that reading whatever message is printed on it is not available to you.
If you can solve one side of Rubik's Cube, you can solve all of them.
And then additionally...
And even if I wanted to, there is always comprehend languages.
As you touch the Rubik's Cube, it seems like gravity releases on the Rubik's Cube as it begins to float up off the pedestal. That way you can kind of like move it, and if you have to like get under the Rubik's Cube and like move tiles, you can do that too.
Okay, so the ones that I can read, did they indicate any specific like chamber?
It seems to be a message. But again, since all of the faces are kind of like mixed up, it's impossible to kind of like right now at least piece together what the message is supposed to be without them all being like in their proper spot.
Okay. I mean, we're playing Wheel of Fortune.
You're playing Wheel of Rubik's Cube.
I'm so in for this.
Yeah, so you want to attempt to solve the cube Avok. I am going to need a unskilled intelligence check.
All right, unskilled. So that's going to be a just
or the bard when you need it.
With max guidance when we need it.
All right, let me roll my portents so I know.
Yes, that's actually pretty good. 18.
Okay, 18. I will say that this will allow you to solve one of the faces of the Rubik's Cube. And additionally, I get to have a fun thing happen. As you change the first like tile on the Rubik's Cube, two things happen simultaneously as you do this. The first thing that happens is that the room itself moves. So Yuza, as you're just kind of standing there, like, on the floor, like, watching Avok work the pedestal, the entire ground beneath you essentially shifts to the right suddenly, as what was now the floor is now the right wall. And additionally, the second effect that happens is that gravity gets shifted around as well. So now you are suddenly drawn to what would be the ceiling.
What the fuck?
As you just, like, land on your back on the ceiling of this room. And the Rubik's Cube is now still, like, floating beneath you, but it is further away. As Avok, I assume you just, like, lunge off and, like, begin moving cube. Yeah, y'all are gonna get, like, thrown around this room a good bit.
Yeah, I mean, one thing if the room just shifted, but the fact that gravity shifts too means just flying isn't gonna prevent me from getting flung.
Yuza just, like, floating. I'm good. I'm good.
That was unexpected.
Okay.
You transmute gravity?
Apparently.
Yeah, technically, reverse gravity and gravity manipulation spells in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition are transmutation spells.
Oh, I knew that. I just wanted to say that because that was fun.
For whatever reason, I find it weird that, like, chronergy and graviturgy spells are technically still part of, like, for the most part, transmutation, because in, like, baseline vanilla 5e, manipulating gravity and time are things that just transmutation wizards can do.
Because where the fuck else do you put that? Like, before chronoturgy came in, they came up with that. Where the fuck else would you put it?
Any school where it would make logical sense.
Yeah, which would be transmutation.
Listen, sometimes you just want to create a condensed gravity well inside a person, alright? That's evocation right there. Or conjuration, who knows? It's a gravity well, you're bringing it forth into existence. Yeah, so as you, I assume this is going to require a lot of, like, being shifted and then leaping from your position to where the cube is, and moving some things around. As you are able to get the first face solved, I will say that you all can now read the Draconic message. And it will take a few more rolls to solve the rest of the puzzle.
Right.
Okay, let me try this one.
Go for it.
So you reading the Draconic message, or are you taking over with the Rubik's Cube?
Probably both.
Okay.
Let's start with the message. What does the Draconic say?
The Draconic message actually seems to be a historical account. It just states, we do not know what is going on outside after the first wave of invasion came from the forces of Eloran. We know that the king has deployed forces from other foreign powers, and we begin to question this alliance we have made with those in Eloran, as in order to preserve the independence of the magistocracy, as well as our ability to continue advancing the knowledge of the arcane, our king and his petty governors would see that our efforts are shackled under one rule that determines the flow of arcane knowledge, which is not the way that our understanding should progress. We hope that for future generations they can read this message and know that the greatest thing above all else for a wizard to have is the freedom to decide their own course in life.
This is...
Did read that part out loud.
What is this? Because Avok can't speak Draconic.
Yeah, Yuza did. She's reading this part out loud.
Okay.
It's a record.
Of some kind of... About some kind of king?
I mean, something had to rule Kraggzeit before the principals did.
It's about Elran.
What is Elran?
Elran is a continent where, during the last Great War, the empires of both the continent of Elran and the continent of Volta clashed across the world, creating open battlefields in the continents of Kraggzeit, Varianus, and Darius. Basically, like it was basically two superpowers and their allies throwing themselves at each other across various frontiers of war. And Kraggzeit kind of saw the worst of what the war had to offer, because over in Volta it was a lot of over in Varianus it was a lot of land-based conflicts and territories, a few aerial raids, but for the most part, like, there weren't a lot of like weapons of mass destruction dropped or things like that, because Elran had, you know, outposts and colonies they were looking out for, and Volta had outposts and colonies they were looking out for. And then additionally, there were like other superpowers in the middle that were like, hey, if you drop bombs on us, we will fucking destroy you. And then with Darius, the land itself in Darius is like treacherous, so there was not a lot of like heavy mechanized combat. It was a lot of like occasional ground skirmishes. But the thing about Darius is that the land itself has almost a will and mind of its own, so it kind of fought back as well against some of these invading forces. So Darius more or less got to stay out of a majority of the conflict. Kraggzeit is where things kind of reached like their fever pitch with this like war, just because the conflict, which as you can see on the runes showed, the king of Kraggzeit came into conflict with the magistocracy, which was like at the time like the voice for the arcane researchers in Kraggzeit. And the two forces came into conflict, with the magistocracy allying with Elran and with the king himself allying with Volta, basically allowing Kraggzeit to become the staging ground for this massive war between the two empires.
Yeah, they got hit with U.S. versus Russia while also having a civil war.
Yeah, pretty much. It's basically what happened to Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now you can solve for any other sides of the cube you wish to solve for.
Okay, let's... Do I go for anything specific, or do I just roll and find out?
You can go for anything specific, or you can roll and find out. Can
I perform the help action?
Absolutely.
Alright.
I will go for the giant, because we can both read that one.
Hell yeah.
Good. It's not as good. What was this again? Skill?
It's just an unskilled intelligence check.
Skill intelligence. Okay, so that's a 19.
All right. Yeah, you begin to move the runes into place. This time, since you seem to have solved one of the faces, the gravity does not shift as heavily. The room still moves, but it almost seems like the two of you like are Yuza now with your like flying. The pulls on the gravity kind of like move you in a direction, kind of like jolt you away from the cube, but it doesn't drag you all the way to the ground. So you're still able to kind of like stabilize yourself and then fly back over and continue your work. For you, Avok, you're kind of getting pinballed around in like a nebulous space between the floors and the cube. So you're not like hitting any surfaces, but you're just kind of like.
I was imagining, like, from the perspective of the cube, looking at Yuza looking at it intently, trying to solve it, and just in the background, the room just shifting like a Rubik's cube, and Avok just bouncing around.
You see the pinball sound? Ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ah, fuck, tilt.
Yep, so you're able to solve that second side, so now you have the draconic side and the giant side solved. And both of you can read this now. This actually is another historical record. It seems to take place earlier than the previous one. It almost seems like the first thing inscribed on here. It says, "We have just now established our second of the mage towers across our land for the magistocracy to operate unhindered. The recent conflux that occurred due to the Arcanum convergence has laid waste to our old schools of learning, so we are now relocating and reestablishing these various towers across the land in hopes that they will be able to provide future generations with the knowledge of all of our forefathers and ancestors in magical research. Unfortunately, a lot of things were lost, and other things that were not lost have been hoarded by the king and his royal court mages for their own personal benefit, but nonetheless, we are devoting ourselves to the furthered research and study of the various schools of magic that we now have come to understand. This shall be the Transmutation Tower, where all mages who wish to understand the ebb and flow of creation and the natural forces of the world can study in peace."
So this was like some kind of refuge for mages?
It's supposed to be. Way good that did.
I mean, it definitely allowed them to advance the skills.
It would also eventually put them under the thumb of Eclipse.
Yeah.
I wonder if all of the history is going to be this sad.
History's doomed to repeat unless you learn from it.
I know that.
We have to learn, I guess. Be better.
Alright, next one. Let's go. Maybe Celestial will be less appalling.
Wait, which one are you solving?
Celestial?
Okay, I believe there was Draconic Giant, Dwarvish Elvish,
Sylvan and Celestial.
Sylvan, and... Wait, was there? Hold on. Primordial. It was Primordial.
Oh, it's Primordial. Oh, okay then. Yeah, maybe Primordial is the beginning. So let's start there.
Let's go further back.
Far back as probably we can go. I can only imagine the furthest back is either going to be Primordial or it's going to be Sylvan.
Yeah, go for it.
Uh, 13, so 18.
18. Yeah, you're able to solve this third side, and yet again...
Wait, is Avok still helping me?
Uh,
Can he not because he doesn't understand it?
well, I would attempt to provide the health option based off the mechanics of the Rubik's Cube.
Okay, so Avok's just like, listen, I've solved many a cube in my day. I think I know what I'm talking about. I
spent like 2 months just in that demi-plane solving Rubik's Cubes.
It was very boring.
He's like, listen, for the first 2 months when I was dead and I wasn't allowed to reveal myself, I just solved nothing but Rubik's Cubes. I have become the cube.
I know how they think.
The first rule of the Eyes of Truth: know your enemy. So I have studied the cube, and I know.
Well,
no
you were
weakness.
busy in this Ricky Tinklehead. I studied the cube.
While you were busy going out and partying in high school, I was studying the cube. They don't tell you about the secrets.
On a shirt, I studied the cube.
I studied the cube.
Next time I go to a con and see you guys, I'm just gonna be wearing a shirt that says with the
I
Rubik's
studied
Cube
the
on it,
cube.
say, I studied the cube.
just on it just says, you may have studied the, it's like, you may have studied the arcane magics, but I have studied the cube.
Love it.
Yes. So you're able to solve the primordial side. And yes, this seems to be the actual, like, oldest recorded thoughts here. And it just simply says, the growing days are becoming increasingly more ominous as new phenomena occur throughout the world. And the royal family seems to want our insights onto what could be occurring with the magics, as ley lines seem to be shifting and weakening, but we do not know. We have recently turned to two people of which we have kept consistent consultation, who have offered us different answers. Our representative from the collective have told us that everything is fine, and that the natural shifting of ley lines is the way of the world. Magic moves and flows through it like a tide in a glass, a tide on the ocean. Ever shifting and changing, but never weakening, always at the same level of strength. However, this does not align with what we have read in our portents, and so we have turned to agents of another organization we have worked with in the past that calls themselves the Eclipse. What they have told us is that the collective has lied to us, and that it is they who are trying to drain and siphon the magic of the world for whatever end we cannot hope to guess or fathom. We have recently come across a group of heroes that have offered their aid to our kingdom, and we hope that through their efforts we shall find a reprieve from this situation. Our greatest minds are now in the capital, working alongside the king as a new branch known as the Royal Wizards. And through their efforts, hopefully we shall gain some insight into this disaster, as we feel that all of this shifting and tumultuous magic can only have negative effects if not checked. For magic itself is a primal and natural resource, and to drain too much of it or to consolidate too much of it will result in a great disaster befalling the land and affecting all who wield the arcane.
That was the Royal Wizards?
It's far older than I thought it was. That Fred?
So just for, like, historical context, it seems like this recording is from the Third Age. The recording that was in Giant seems to be post the Arcanum Convergence, like right as the Fourth Age was getting started. And the first entry y'all saw, the one in Draconic, seems to be during, like, the initial, like, conflict that started the War of the Fourth Age.
And it would be really helpful to have Merrick here.
Merrick, oh my god, history!
I mean, with his new ability to just see...
No, he's had that for a while. He's used it once or twice before.
Yeah, he doesn't like using it a
New
lot.
to me.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah, he doesn't like using it a lot.
Well, also,
It's
only
situational.
yeah, it's
Aim from
situational,
this.
but when it does come into play, oh, it's a DM's like dream. It's like, I get to exposit all this creepy shit? Hell yeah.
Here's all this lore.
we're staring at historical records.
We are going to have to bring Merrick here at some point. Get his. I mean, he knows history, I guess. So, the information. I'm just jumping in for note's sake.
Yeah.
The information we know right now is that wizards came to this tower to practice the magic in secret and safety.
Not secret, but safety.
But safety. Okay.
They were. It was well known that they were establishing this tower. Like the kingdom knew, like the king and royal family knew that they were doing this. It was more just the fact that like. It was basically the equivalent of, listen, we're going to keep all the really smart scholars and really cool magic to ourselves. Y'all can just go fuck off wherever you want and, like, study, I don't know, rocks and shit. Like, the royal family was basically just like, listen, we don't care what you study, but all of, like, the really important and dangerous shit you will give to us.
Right. And then that's when they joined Eclipse. So when they got here, that's how they were able to practice safely, by joining Eclipse?
No. Eclipse was only mentioned recently in the record that you guys just found, and even then it was more like, we consulted them a long time ago. So for context, it seems like Eclipse has been in Kraggzeit since at least the Third Age, but they haven't held like major political power until recently. I would say, given that Yuza is a native like of Kraggzeit, it's safe to assume that like native is a loose term. Given the fallout of essentially any form of like governance at the end of the Fourth Age in Kraggzeit, that would probably be when Eclipse came in and took control, and the principles were their like essential like tool for controlling the masses. So for the longest time, Eclipse was more like that guy in the court who you're just like, hey, what's your thoughts on this? And like, well, buddy, let me tell you my opinions. So they held no political power, but they were like advisors.
And then they were joined by a group of heroes and went back to the king, and we'll go to, and we'll call the Royal Knights.
Okay, so here's the full laydown, because it seems like a lot of since these all like happen in different times and intervals, like so earliest record is that something weird's going on with the magic. They consulted with their two normal like advisors who are members of a group called the Collective, and then members of a group called Eclipse. The Collective tell them everything's fine. Eclipse is like, the Collective's full of shit. They're lying to you, and everything is about to go tits up, like, right now. And so the mages of the Transmutation School were like, oh no, that's really bad. We're going to send our smartest people to the capital to serve the royal family as part of the Royal Wizards, which is a group of wizards that are drawn from every school of magic to put all of their minds towards, like, whatever problem the royal family is facing. We of the Transmutation School, while that was going on, hired a group of heroes to kind of investigate the Collective on our behalf to make sure that they weren't doing bad things, while we try and, like, do our best to avert our thoughts from whatever is coming, so that we can let other people kind of, like, handle our problems for us. Then we skip ahead to, like, post-Arcanum conversion, so, like, yeah, everything went tits up, everything's bad now. We're establishing this tower so we can practice our magic, because the school we used to practice in got blown the fuck up. And we're just trying to, like, get back to some semblance of normalcy. The king is hoarding all the good magic and the good mages now that, you know, the royal wizards are, like, super powerful and cool and stuff. And we're just left with the scraps. We don't really like this, but we're going to keep practicing our craft because it's the only way we're going to get any, you know, wiser in this world. Then we skip ahead to the Fourth Age where they're like, yeah, so the king's a dick. We've allied with the Elloran Empire, and the king's allied with Volta. War is on the horizon, but we don't give a fuck because, like, the king has oppressed us of the magistocracy for far too long. That's the breakdown of what you know thus far.
King is hoarding magic and mages, a cub. King's a dick. Allied with Eloran. King allied with Volta. Let's do a war. Okay.
Yep.
So the questions I have right now are, which side became the principals?
There's 3 more sides to solve to find out.
I know. And if it was side with the king, what the hell happened to the king?
Well, no king. There's principals. I'm willing to bet
Right, but if but the strongest wizards were sent to the king, or part of the king's side. So,
Yuza, if history has shown me one thing, the strong don't stay strong forever.
know that.
Yeah. I'll help you with the next cube. Let's figure this out.
Alright. Ooh, that's bad. It's better.
You got a fortune if you need it.
Well, I have to choose before I roll.
You also have inspiration.
Well, that I don't know how you're rolling.
It's another D20.
Yeah, it's, you can
it's just a
spend
luck point.
Yeah, it's just a luck point.
Okay. Much better. That's a 23.
Cool. Yeah. Which side are you solving? The remaining ones are Sylvan, Elvish, and Dwarvish.
What does the
Let's
dwarves
use
say?
this on Dwarvish. Let's use this on something we don't understand.
Cool. Yeah, you easily are just like and solve the Dwarvish. Again, the gravity, like it seems like with each face that you solve, the gravity in the room, like the gravitational field lessens and becomes more concise. So in this instance, you all are just kind of like orbited around the cube as the rooms shift, but you're not like thrown about violently.
Avok races for like a violent throw, but it doesn't come in. He's like, oh. I knew that.
Yeah, and so you said no one here can read Dwarvish?
Oh, that casting copyright languages.
Do you want to cast copyright languages?
I'll put a first level spell slot for that. I want to wait 10 minutes.
So while you ritually cast,
I'm not ritually casting.
Oh, okay. See, okay, I was just double checking because it sounded like you said you didn't want to burn his first level, so I was like, okay, cool, ritual cast.
Oh, I did the exact opposite of that.
Okay, cool. So yeah, as you cast copyrighted languages and can now read the script, it does take a while to translate because I think you can read like a page of script over the course of 1 minute.
I think so.
But this does seem to be a more recent record, seemingly kind of like taking place at the kind of like the turning point of the war, and it just states so this will be after like the most recent historical record you read, which was like the Draconic one, I think, and it just states this war has elevated to a point that has ravaged the land and choked the sky. Our alliance with Eloran, while initially fruitful, has proved to our greater detriment as the forces of Volta allied with the king have proved far more tenacious than we initially realized. While our reinforcements from Eloran have aided us to great effect, they seem more concerned with pillaging what we know than actually providing aid to our people. However, it seems the forces of Volta have grown weary of the king's corruption and petulance and grow tired of this war. It seems they may withdraw soon, but if they do, our fear is that those of Eloran will continued to plunder the land for our own benefit. Or for their own benefit. We have been approached by an emissary of Volta, decrying for peace. We are just not sure if we can trust them. However, one thing that stood out to the leader of our tower is that they decried themselves as an ally of old. Specifically, they named an organization that we have not heard since the Third Age. They decried that they were a representative of the Eclipse and wished to speak with us on behalf of peace with Volta and Kraggzeit's future as a independent nation where mages were free to pursue their own goals. We must take time to consider this, as the thing we want more than anything is independence, and we wish not to be under the rule of anyone, be it Volta, Elrond, or Eclipse. We must take great strides to cautiously consider this offer before we make any decision.
That didn't work out too well for him.
Yeah, didn't work out super great.
Eclipse was initially part of Elrond.
Eclipse is their own organization that spans multiple continents.
Yeah, I meant back then.
Back then, no. I mean, they have agents in Elrond, but Elrond was doing its own thing.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, in either situation, having agents on both Elrond and Volta's side benefits them the most, because if they want to prolong the war, they can. If they want to end it, they can.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm back.
All right, welcome back.
What a miss.
Basically an emissary representing Volta, but also saying they represented Eclipse, approached the mages about peace.
Yeah, ending the war.
They're
on
hesitant.
Kraggzeit.
So emissary rep Volta approach Eclipse about ending the war.
No, a representative of Volta, who was secretly a member of Eclipse, approached the mages of Kraggzeit about ending the war, and driving out Elrond as well as the royal family to give the mages exactly what they wanted. And naturally, the mages are skeptical of the validity of this offer, seeing as they don't want to be subjugated by anybody, and they also are like, we've been fighting Volta for a long time, and we have trouble trusting the word of someone from them. They could just be lying about being from Eclipse in order to, like, gain favor with us, since Eclipse was an ally of the mages back in the Third Age.
They just wanted independence.
Yeah, mages are just like, look, we just want to be free, and and we feel like we're not crazy for being skeptical of everyone that offers us help.
Well,
but yeah, there's two sides remaining.
Okay, let's do.
I cast help action.
I cast help out. Okay, we solved for
and
Sylvan.
burning through those spell slots today, but.
We solved for Sylvan. Go ahead and roll me a unskilled intelligence check with the help action.
Oh, that's good. By the way, Red, my points would not help with this. They're all kind of low.
Damn it!
16.
Yeah.
No, natural 16, so 21.
Yeah, you easily solve the Sylvan puzzle. You've solved my Sylvan puzzle. And this time, the gravity seems to have you all floating off the ground, like off the pedestal where the cube itself floats off of. But you are not shifted around as the rooms shift. The room around you begins to like shift and change, but you all are kept static in where you are. And as you solve this face, it's one more historical record. This seems it states right off the bat, this is the record of the first transmutation principle of the newly free magistocracy of Kraggzeit. The war has ended, and our nation is left in our nation and continent is left in great disrepair and destruction in the wake of what has happened here. The representative from Volta kept true to their word, and working with the contacts they had through their network with Eclipse, they were able to drive out the king and the royal family, as well as drive out the forces of Eloran. However, in a last-ditch effort to keep their territory, or rather to prevent Volta from gaining any more ground, Eloran deployed many weapons of mass destruction across the face of Kraggzeit, completely marring and destroying the landscape and tainting the land with wild magic. Volta itself had to pull out in order to save their own forces. However, agents of Eclipse quickly came to the scene, allowing us of the magistocracy to establish ourselves around our 8 towers, building 8 new cities, and doing their best to keep the wild magic at bay. While traversing through the ruins of our land is dangerous and treacherous, they have aided us with funding and establishing our individual nations, and propped up 8 rulers who they believe to be beneficial in guiding the people in our individual endeavors, of which I am the first of my name, the transmutation principle of Underspire, Barian Kane. I hope that through our continued endeavors alongside Eclipse as partners, we can continue to foster an understanding and knowledge of our individual magics, and one day cure the land of this great sickness that rots it, and hopefully rebuild our once great civilization through the fires of war like the mighty Phoenix.
I take out a scrap of paper and write on it, "Who is Barian Kane?" and send that into the pocket. See if we have any extra intel on this guy.
We'll go ahead and let you know it's going to take a while to get a response.
Fair enough. I always expect with most things that go into the pocket that it takes a while to return.
Gotcha. You want to solve the final side?
No, I think we're
Why
good.
not?
It's like, no, we're good. We'll just live in this
Take-
room forever now.
Yeah, we're done here.
No, cave it in. Never coming back.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Barry
will.
and Kane? Fuck, this place needs to get nuked again.
Burn it down.
Yeah, I will provide help action.
I will provide a dice roll. Okay. That'll work. 18.
18. Let's see here. Yeah, it does not take long to solve it. Let me check one thing real fast, because I want to make sure I'm accurately reflecting timelines here.
Yeah, right. My highest portent is a 12. The other two are a 4 and an 8. It'll work if, it's Arcana, but...
Yeah, okay. You solve the final message, and notice a very familiar handwriting in the Elvish. As you read the first line and are immediately like, ugh, this guy. As it says, this is the record of Kilkias Pavis, the 5th transmutation principle of the land of Kraggzeit. I have just slain my predecessor and claimed his amulet, and thus with it the tower held there within and the knowledge it contains. I have read the records of this place and learned great and many terrible truths that lie even deeper within this tower's walls. I leave this record to those that come after me, whether you be the transmutation principle that would succeed me, or another passerby merely looking to plunder my riches. This place is a tomb to all the knowledge that could have been and all the knowledge that will be. I warrant you give it respect as you traverse through it, as even though to you it may seem that these are just the records of older minds who haven't been enlightened by the civilization we find ourselves in today, in each record there is wisdom to be taken and knowledge to be earned. He also marks the year on the cube, which is something that you haven't seen in any of the other markings thus far. He marks that the year is 3830.
30.
Mm-hmm.
The current year.
What year is it for us?
It is 3846. So this was made 16 years ago.
Okay. Ah. And he's a Geth. He spent a lot of time in the Astral Sea, I believe he claimed.
Yep, he does. He has, over many years of his life, moved back and forth between the Astral Sea and the material plane.
Let's number home.
Yep.
So, user, shall we delve deeper?
So does anything happen once the cube's complete?
Yeah, it floats back down to the ground as you all do, and as it rests back on its pedestal, the room around you kind of like shifts and changes before it descends. Like the room itself, so like the doorway behind you begins to just slowly like move towards the ceiling as the room itself moves downwards through the earth itself, before you see on the far end of the room a new doorway kind of like rises up from the ground as you all like finally move into position, and you just hear as the room locks into place.
Move towards it.
Time.
All right. You find another long descending staircase. This one isn't spiral. It kind of like goes down and then it veers off to the left. And as you all head down this long descent of stairs, despite Kilkias saying that like this is a treasure trove of like lost knowledge and hidden things, you surprisingly don't see a lot of other like rooms.
I would like... see,
But we're just at the end of a stair. We're just at the staircase just runs into a wall.
No, it just keeps descending. You will arrive at another room eventually.
Okay.
I was just going to do a quick thing before we get there, unless y'all had any questions for me.
Avok is just going to pop a key point to cast Detect Magic.
Yeah. There are magical things beyond these walls.
It has like 8.
Within like 20 feet of you, give or take. It almost seems like as you kind of like peer beyond, like these solid walls that kind of like prevent you from moving anywhere except beyond the stairs that lead down. There seem to be rooms beyond them, but there are no doors or entranceways that you can find.
So do we want to make a door into one of these?
That's up to y'all. In the meantime, Avok, your pocket rustles as the note appears.
I pull it out.
It says, "Fuck with that guy."
It says, "Run."
No, Barium Kane, they let you know, was the principal of transmutation in the year 3816. He was one of the first that was finally able to establish kind of like law and order in Kraggzeit, because it took the continent almost like 16 years to like rebuild tradeways between like the 8 cities and the towers, to even rebuild the towers, and then finally to establish law and order.
Right.
So they were the first transmutation principle. They were not necessarily the most memorable. Their main goal was just like in rebuilding and restoration, which they put a lot of work into. However, their tenure as principal was very short-lived, as in 3820, about 4 years after they took official office, they were killed by their apprentice with the assistance of 2 other principals who were looking to put this apprentice in power because they thought that they would be more easy to control.
And here we go with the politics.
Yeah, man, it's what does the moving and the shaking.
Man, when did D&D become political? Pay attention.
Been political.
Exactly.
But yeah, and then it describes that over like the next 10 years, principals barely held the seat for longer than like 2 to 3 years before being again killed by their successor. Until Kilkias Pavis got the seat and has held it the longest period of time, a whopping 16 years.
Yuza, congrats. You have the record. You have a chance to beat Kilkias' record. Just don't take an apprentice for the next 16 years.
Oh, sorry to say it, I've already failed at that.
Huh? You have an apprentice?
I have several.
Was it the dragon?
No, it's not the undead.
He would make a good apprentice.
Man has say man. He has a short temper. Would not be a very patient principal.
I forget that you've basically just met me, so you don't know my humor yet.
Humor is also a relatively new thing to me anyway. A lot to laugh about in Kraggzeit.
It's just like, listen, outside my home, there's just wasteland. We don't really have a lot of things to laugh about.
Yuza, believe it or not,
Tell me I'm wrong, Walker.
You're not wrong. No, I imagine that even like I think Yuza is even aware that like there are certain professions that just don't exist. Like I think
I went to see a jester show one time. He's like, I don't get it.
Yuzo is just like, yeah, no, there was the like over in White Plains, the area that the necromancy principal used to hold, he one of the most prevalent professions he had was jesters, but the problem was he kept killing them and turning them into undead to do funny little dances for him, and we could never understand why. It just kind of seemed sick, honestly.
That's where the Necromancer Principle was, the White Plains?
White Plains has historically been the domain of the necromancy principle, whereas the abjuration principle, I believe I talked about where they were in. Here we go. The Armored Hills.
Okay, that
So the Armored Hills is where the abjuration principle lives. Underspire is where the transmutation principle lives. Necromancy principle has lived historically in White Plains. And the divination principle.
The place my dad last remembers him being.
Yeah, the divination principle historically has been in Yirion. Now, while they have like these large like cities, there are also like areas like regions outside the city that they also control. So like while Yirion is like your city, the area of control that Yirion inhabits extends far beyond the Great Wall. But yeah.
Well, at least I know he's not at the White Plains. At least he shouldn't be.
I mean, your dad said that the last place he remembered being held was the White Plains, so either he's there, or they've moved him around.
I cleared that place like 3 years ago.
There's always more to be found.
Okay, so do we want to explore one of these, or do we want to explore one of these, or do we just want to keep going?
Up to maybe we can hit these rooms on the way back.
Also, by the way, like I am fully joking. You have cleared White Plains. Like I'm not just being like facetious. Like, oh, maybe you didn't do. No, you 100% have cleared White Plains. He wasn't there. Although, like a lot of the labs you did find weren't like great.
Yeah, though he clearly is being kept in a place that sustains him.
Yeah.
Not very well, but it sustains him.
Absolutely.
They're just being left to death. Just being left to die. Wherever she's keeping him close enough.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
Okay,
yeah.
we can...
Do you want us to open one of these rooms?
The treasure is at the bottom, so the stuff that Kilkais would actually care about, would be behind locked doors.
All right. Then I guess we just keep going. What do you want to do, Yuza? I don't know. I'm leaving it up to you.
Yeah, let's open some doors then.
All right.
I don't particularly care about treasure.
What do you want to split up? You take a look at the doors, and I can go look at the treasure.
The last time you went into a tower by yourself?
Not remotely.
In my tower, you would get lost just by opening a door. Here, the walls shift.
That's fair. Alright, stick together then.
I'll just...
Plasma wants to go, keep going down because Walker seemed excited.
I've built a tower. I mean, you want to explore it or you can. It's whatever you want to do.
I want to explore the tower.
I'll explore the tower.
Bust open the wall and explore this fucking tower.
You bust open the wall immediately. Fucking like 30 mimics.
Fine, we can just close it again.
I do what I did when Avok was a ghost, and I minor illusion him a tiny hat.
Yeah, so as you all descend further down, you arrive at the next puzzle. By the way, like all I've done with the transmutation thing, like I was considering, like, you know, like, because you use this thing like it's just a mass of like illusions and various shifting like rooms and doors that like you can get lost in, and there are some monsters in them, but they're not like prevalent. The one thing I decided when I was making all these towers is I'm like, they're definitely gonna test the person coming after the amulet, but they're not like truly designed to kill you. They're just designed to either make you give up,
test you, yeah,
or make you like succeed. So yeah, as you arrive at the next one, there is just
it's
a
testing
large...
your knowledge, not your might.
Yeah, there is a large set of scales. In one of them, there is a large, almost dragon-like egg made of like this black crystalline material. And around the room in various buckets are different materials. And the inscription on the scales just simply states, balance the scales. In the various buckets around the room, there are things like feathers, stone, gold, large, like there's like a large bucket of water. You've even got one that's got like wood, and the last material seems to be just bone. Just a bunch of random bones.
And there's a crystalline dragon egg already on the scales.
Correct. Or at least it looks like a dragon egg. It's just kind of like a big black crystal egg that has scales on it.
Alright. What do you think, Yuza? This some kind of... This is another test?
Else would it look like?
So, straightforward, just balance the scales.
I mean, simplest way would be to just remove the dragon egg.
Alright, Avok walks up and tries to pick up the dragon egg.
Cool. Make me an athletics check.
Okay.
I will not provide the help action because I cannot.
Use a... Use it. Alright, fine. Damn it. Summons Arcane Hand to move.
16 plus 8, 24.
Yeah, that egg's not budging.
Is it worth me casting a lodge on myself?
I mean, you have these fancy magic knuckles that you can,
I'm gonna punch the knuckles together and make my stats 20.
Cool. Go ahead and try and lift the egg now, with an athletics check.
Okay.
Now that you have a +5 strength plus your proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
Plus 10.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
now that you have a +10. Because your proficiency bonus is a +5, right? Because y'all are level 15.
Oh yeah, it is.
So it's a +10.
Okay, so this plus 10. Ooh, that wasn't great. 17.
Yeah, that egg's still not budging.
You know what? Just cause I'm going to cast Enlarge on myself and just give it one more shot. Gives me advantage on strength checks.
Alright.
Hey, Avok, regular doesn't work. Go gear second. It still doesn't work. Go gear third.
Pretty much.
Give
Honestly,
me 1 second.
I'm too big to fit in this room.
And this is Avok, I imagine, yeah. As a half-orc guy, you might be fine.
Probably not, yeah. Avok, when he's a guy that's 8 feet tall, this is the shortest he's ever been in his life.
Even as a child.
Yes.
Came out of the womb taller than a half-orc.
He is currently 7 feet tall. He came out of the womb 7'1".
Man, Goliaths have a very slow growth rate. But man, is their incubation period astounding.
I don't know. Goliaths are weird. In my setting, we don't even know how old they get. They just die from stupidity before they die of old age. They die of ego checks. That is a 29.
Yep, give me a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait, do we want me to just transmute the... Because clearly the egg is, like, glued to or attached to the scales to want me to just
I mean, at this
do
point,
that.
probably. I'm just doing it for fun.
Yeah. I have a feeling this isn't gonna work.
All
Want me to
right.
just move the separation.
These skills are these tests off to like see if you're worthy of like magic. I doubt just like
Tower will
lifting up
test
a
your
rock.
knowledge. Some half orc walks in.
Okay. So,
Very
first
far.
off, I'm gonna go ahead and
Roll some damage.
no, I'm gonna share something with you, and then if you want to share it with the class, I will post it in this chat now. But yeah.
Oh! Is that going to affect right now?
Oh yeah.
Okay, let me update that then. So that means I in fact rolled a 32 then.
What?
I will. Do you decide to use the secondary effect? Or I guess I should say, do you want to be big or tiny?
Big.
Cool. You watch as so Avok has activated Brune's knuckles, which lasts for about a minute, and you watch as like their muscles like beef up and they become kind of like super like athletic and limber, basically like just that maximum bodybuilder like athleticism power. And even still, they try and like yank this egg off, and it's not moving, it's not budging. And then, like, as they kind of, like, rub their hands together, give it one final go as they're, like, preparing to cast Enlarge Reduce, they grip this egg with all their might, and you watch as the knuckles, like, flare up as runes finally ignite across its brass surface. And as they do, you watch as Avok's form grows to a full, like, 10, or we'll say 12 feet tall, almost doubling in size as... their massive arms now like grip this egg in a vice as they lift it and just boom, like set it onto the ground. As the scales even out and balance, and the room begins to move as the last one has before you.
We were absolutely supposed to cast a spell on the egg and just like make it cast Disintegrate or something. We did that wrong.
I have like Yuza just has a look at her face. Says, I cannot believe that worked.
By the way, if you'd like, you can cast Identify on the egg.
Wait, were you kidding this entire time?
I mean, I figured I was just going to separate it from its base using Transmutation but I guess this works as well.
I think I pulled a muscle.
I will say this, Avok, as you look at the base of the scales, like where the egg was sitting, there's nothing that was holding it on there.
Oh shit.
So I repeat, Yuza, would you like to cast Identify on the egg?
Yeah, sure. I mean, when you asked me that. Last time you asked me that, I learned about the fucking bow guys.
Yeah, the egg is a permanently activated immovable rod.
Oh. Avok just picks it up, and attempts to drop it, but just hangs there. Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like you're defying physics right now.
Avok just holding the egg and just like spinning it in the air.
Thing literally should never move.
100% though, you could have disintegrated it. Like you could have just instantly destroyed it, and the same effect would have happened.
Yeah, but it's been gone.
But now you activated a legendary magic item to its full potential, and you now have egg.
I like that we solved the math problem by setting the paper on fire.
Setting the paper on, you punched it.
Oh yeah.
Punched a hole through it.
This is absolutely. This is like classic. Like this was absolutely not how you're supposed to solve the puzzle, but that works.
Pretty much.
Like, right. Now you just have to take this egg, take it to the fight with the maw, and then just place it on the maw. We're going nowhere.
Hold on. Do you have a bag of holding? Do I have a bag of holding?
You ain't going nowhere. Bones.
Yo, imagine that I just take this out mid-fight and just, like, shut put it. This is going in my bag of holding.
It's a permanent immovable rod. I'm guessing the second you let it go, it leaves your hands. It's going to stop.
Yeah, it literally, like, Avok is just moving it through the space.
So strong.
So you can't chuck it at someone, but if you placed it on someone.
I can beat someone with it.
I will say after a minute, you do shrink back to normal size, and your strength score now becomes standard. Same with your dexterity.
You got it.
Back to, I assume, a 20 dexterity and whatever the fuck your strength is.
16 strength, 20 dexterity.
Christ alive. A menace.
Yuza wants to be appalled by what she just saw, but she just can't help but be impressed.
It's like, I would be disgusted, but that's actually kind of impressive. Yep, so you all...
We're correct for the wrong reasons.
The chamber descends down and arrives at another door. And this one, surprisingly, there's no stairs. It just seems to kind of like drop off into the abyss.
Like, even with, like, dark vision, like, just...
Even with your devil's sight, it seems like there is nothing here.
That's cool.
It goes further than 120 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Alright then, so... down.
Alright. Let's do this.
Oh, cast Featherfall. A little less than a minute.
Once
Once you start seeing bottom, oh, Featherfall. It'll only take us 600 feet.
I'm going to, like, do a slow fall.
Cool. Wait, Yuza, can't you fly?
I didn't think he could use his slow fall for eternity.
I mean, we'll see.
It reduces the amount of damage made, but it just goes for 1,000 feet.
Yeah, so y'all begin falling. You go for a while. You go for longer. And you just seem to be stuck in this perpetual black void.
My god, we're in Spy Kids 2. How long do you think we've been falling?
I don't know, my watch doesn't tell time.
I love that both of you quoted that at the same time.
I'll wait like 10 minutes.
I will say this: are y'all keeping close to the? Well, I guess once you step out the room, it's just kind of.
Avok has to stay on the lip, because otherwise what's going to break his fall?
Yeah, otherwise, I basically had, like, one hand on the wall, kind of, like, just slowing my descent.
Yeah, the wall is there for about, let's say, 60 feet. Then there's no wall.
What?
And now you're just...
Yeah, Yuza, there's no wall. Hey, Yuza, not to alarm you, but, walls are gone.
Anyway. And just looking out around us, just also void.
It's void.
So, how have you been doing, Yuza?
I just give him the weirdest stink eye.
What are we gonna do? We're just hanging out, just falling, like two buddies. I'm gonna try if this works.
What are you trying?
I'm gonna attempt Dispel Magic.
Okay.
I don't know why. But
Where are you directing Dispel Magic?
Like around us. Like if there's, like
or maybe like directly under us.
All right. Are you doing it at its maximum range of 30 feet? Or wait, is Dispel Magic 30 feet or is it 60 feet?
120.
120?
Yeah.
So are you casting it at the maximum range of your sight?
I suppose I would have to. Yeah, because it's I mean, no, it's verbal and somatic. Hold on. It doesn't say I can. I need to see the effect, so I guess I'll just go with 420.
Right, spell sniper, you fuck.
No, I don't have a spell snap. No, the range on Dispel Magic is just natively 120.
Okay, I thought you said 420. I was like, oh, 120. Okay, never mind.
Oh, I see.
I was confused. I'm like, 420 feet? Where the fuck is he getting that? Anyway. Yeah. You cast it. I'm gonna need you to make a roll.
It's totally fair.
Because you only have third level spell slots, right?
I have 1 4th level, but I didn't declare that ahead of time, so I have to use my 3rd level.
Okay.
What's your bonus to it?
I am now proficient in Arcana, so... Wait, this is just going to be my Wisdom stat, right?
Since Wisdom is your spellcasting stat, yes, it would just be basically a D20 plus your Wisdom versus the spell level.
Okay, so just +4. Got it.
+4. Do you want it to just be a 16?
I mean, that would be nice. Should I roll first and then be like...
I have to choose to do it before you roll.
Okay. Yeah, I would love for 16. That's at least gets it to 20. So.
Oh, no, I'm saying, do you want the total to be a 16?
Oh, the total to be a 16.
You have +4. My highest point is 12.
Oh well. I think I want to take the chance then.
Okay.
Okay. That's cocked. Okay, that's 19 total. I would have 15.
19 total.
So long as this isn't like a 10th level spell.
As much fun as that would be. No, I'll say that you do successfully dispel some kind of magic.
That's just a pocket of visibility, then we fall through that. Like, fuck!
Oh, there went the floor. It was just the conjured floor. Oh, it's gone. And we're just glitching through the map.
As you are able to dispel a form of magic, you quickly come to realize what's going on. So the magic in question, so I'll openly say this: there were 2 ways to solve this. The first way is if you had used transmutation to like either fly or like walk on invisible surfaces to move across the void to find a room on the other side. The other, of course, was falling. There were, of course, 2 ways to solve the falling puzzle. You could either use light to, or like some form of light shedding spell to kind of like illuminate the area. The other was dispelling the magic in the corridor. You realize that the magic in question that has been around here was specifically a bunch of like motes of darkness, as well as like color changing magics cast on the walls themselves to make the walls appear black and for all the lights and little sconces to be covered in shrouds of darkness. As you dispel the magic on the floor, you realize that 120 feet away, the floor is rapidly approaching.
Okay, use up for the fall.
Okay.
Just descend slowly as what was once just a black surface is now illuminated as like a sandstone floor with a single like blue crystal floating there, illuminating the area, where you now see that the walls of the chamber are painted black, so you wouldn't have been able to see them.
You know what wouldn't have been all black? Our fucking blood. God damn.
Color magic is crazy.
Color magic is fun. It's like the most useless transmutation unless you're building a trap. People,
Okay,
you can change the color of one substance. People, I'll never use that. Me. Well, if you want to make something look like a sphere of annihilation, it's a great thing to have.
So demented, Walker. I love
What do you
it.
mean your character is a ranger wizard combo? How the fuck could that ever be useful?
Color magic.
Grins.
Color magic. Yeah. So
Make my ferret look like a skunk.
Oh my god, it's full Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, so you arrive on this platform and see that there is a singular door on the left side of the wall in kind of like this again, painted black area. It is a dark hallway, but you do see that there is light at the end of like where it leads, so you can proceed through there knowing that there is like something on the other side. Instead of just being like,
Raven Queen, when my time comes, just let me punch Kokias one more time before I go. Alright, next door. I open it.
well, there's nothing to open. It's just an archway. You just walk through.
Oh! I misunderstood. I misunderstood.
Opens
You
the
just- you-
archway.
I bend it to make it bigger for my free. I move the stone.
I Kool-Aid man my way through more walls.
Yeah, and as you arrive in this next room, it's just a blank, like, walled room. No puzzles or surfaces to be found. And as you both step through the archway, the room descends as many rooms have done before it, moving through the rock to its new destination. The only thing that is different when you arrive is that as it reaches its final destination and locks into place, there is no door for you all to proceed through. And now you are essentially in a sealed off stone box.
Get detect magic going.
All right.
If to see if there's anything. I'm sure the whole place dings, but
It just like it lights up like your Christmas tree.
it's just a flashbang.
I'm going to cast Lightning Lore just to light up my hands to see if there's any, like... Because Avok learned, like, light would have been important last time, just to shed some light in here.
I mean, it's not
Just
like
cast
it's
light.
not
I'll
dark.
just cast
Like
light.
it is illuminated. You all are
I'm just
in just
looking
a no. It's just sealed off. Like there is no exit or nor entrance.
Okay.
Yeah. Casting detect magic. Obviously, like there's magic around you that moves the box, and there's magic that illuminates the room. But the largest concentration of magic you can find is along the northern wall. It seems to have a large collection of magic just beyond it, at the very range of your 30 feet.
Alright then. I'll just make a door.
Okay. As
Sorry,
you
make a door anyway.
as you have solved my transmutation puzzle of making door.
Make a door.
That was literally one of the puzzles. I'm like, I have to make a puzzle where it's just like make a door. Just like literally, you are in a sealed room. Find a way out.
Right. The transmutation first ability is so fucking versatile.
I love how the transmutation puzzles
So
were like
versatile and so underrated.
started off hard and then have progressively gotten easier. As I say easier. They've gotten more sudden death. Like if you can't solve it, like you will die. Like sealed off stone room, you'll probably suffocate. A hallway that leads into oblivion, you'll fall to your fucking death. A fucking scale room, throw out your back or just never solve it. But yeah, you create a doorway and proceed forward, and you find yourself. There is in previous rooms there have been stairs or walkways or hallways, passages to proceed through to lead from one to the next. And with the last, with one of course the exception being the pitfall. Here you find something rather interesting. And that is that there is just a simple set of well-lit stairs that lead down, not even terribly far, just down almost what would be one normal flight of stairs to descend from a second floor to a first floor.
It'd be really helpful to have a 3.5 dwarf with us right now. Tell us exactly how far underground we are.
And you could find out here in a minute.
So I'm gonna throw a coin onto the stairs just to make sure they're real.
This isn't my tower, not everything full of illusions.
You throw a coin onto the steps. They're there.
Okay. Just
right.
can't trust these towers.
So y'all start walking down the stairs to the next room?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Let me blindly walk down these stairs.
How much does Avok weigh?
200 pounds.
Excellent.
I sense no danger here.
Which one of you goes first?
Ava.
Probably me.
Oh sure.
So
yeah,
so
usually
you
goes
use
first.
it. How much does Yuza weigh?
Hey, give me a sec.
300 pounds. But it's all muscle.
124.
Okay. Yuza steps down the stairs. Everything's fine. They're sturdy, and they move easily down the stairs. The second Avok steps on them, the stairs immediately shift, and instead of remaining as stairs, they become a ramp or slide, as Avok slides down to the next room.
Stairs from a coin.
If Yuza hasn't reached the bottom of the stairs yet, Avok will 100% run into them.
User.
I didn't make a deck save or something.
You could just tell me, did you make it down the stairs in time, or would you like to make a deck save?
I don't know. I don't know how long these stairs are. I don't know how long Avok waited.
Okay, good point. So your movement speed is 30 feet normally walking, right?
I don't know how much room I have to dodge.
30 feet walking is your normal movement speed, Yuza? Oh wait, no, it's 40 because you have your special fast movement stone.
Oh, that's right.
Then yeah, you would easily be able to assuming that Avok waited until they were like like at least halfway down the stairs, you'd be fine. If Avok like went down immediately after they went down, then yeah, they're right behind you. And there is room for maneuverability. It will just be tricky because you are also on this sliding staircase.
So Red, which reality are we in?
I imagine I would have been right behind you.
That's what I wanted to hear.
So make me a dexterity saving throw.
Hey. Oh, damn it, that's good. Say, what's my dex bonus? I wish that wasn't so good. That's 20.
Yeah, you're able to at least, like... There's not a lot of maneuvering room here to, like, get out of the way, but you're at least able to, like, as the stairs shift beneath you, you're at least able to hop up and kind of hover with your wings for a second as Avok shoots down behind you, like, in front of you, towards the room.
Who'd have thought stairs had a weight limit?
Avok just...
Just fly down after him.
Please tell me there are at least bowling pins set up for me. I feel as though Kill Kai's fat shaming Avok here.
Not bowling pins, no.
I don't like the way you said that, but I'm gonna accept this.
A wall of spikes, actually.
Not a wall of spikes.
Just 7 adult black dragons.
Pit.
Yeah, you know.
Hey Ava, can I get a dex save from you, buddy?
Of course you can. 17. No, not 17. That's 22.
Cool. Well, I'll give you this. You're able to avoid the spike pit. As you slide and can't really stop your momentum, you fall into the pit and begin to slide down it. However, with your legs spread apart and your hands bracing against the sides of the chamber, you are able to stop yourself from running into the spikes at the very bottom, as you just narrowly avoid being speared on them.
You just sees me go into a pit and just hears, "Motherfucker, put a punji pit down here!"
Hey, Ava, can I get another deck save?
Oh, of course you can. I don't see any problem at all. That's a 23.
Cool. As you get down there and you're like, "Motherfucker, put a punji pit," you just hear choo 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 as you watch as a pilot light lights up in the wall next to you.
What the fuck?
As you begin quickly wall jumping your way up the or as you quickly begin like scaling your way up this pit, as like jets of flame begin erupting from the walls. Before like
Looney Tunes thing Avok has ever done.
I love this.
Before you climb out of the pit on the other side, I assume with like part of your robes like singed. Yuza just like glides down casually. It's like Avok like crawls out of a pit, like just a little bit on fire.
This is why I don't wear shirts. They catch fire. Stop dropping. No, Avok wouldn't know. Stop dropping. No, his shit never catches fire.
He's just like just like slapping himself.
My beard's on fire. Kill it. Storm came in and just stared at me like, what the fuck is going on?
The greatest thing that I've ever invented is going on.
Is just here okay? No, Avok's on fire. Don't worry about it.
This is the greatest day of my life.
God, I love this tower.
I fucking love this.
We are now required to go inside every one of the other towers.
I absolutely... Avok and Yuza have to make it a weekend. We should bring Merrick here and not tell them
everyone
shit.
has to experience this fun.
We should bring Merrick here and not tell him anything. Oh, hi, Storm.
Oh, get out of here.
Leave!
Leave!
Get out of my room!
I will say this, if there's any tower that you have to bring Merrick to, it needs to be the Abjuration Tower.
100%.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I imagine it ends with just the tower collapsing down.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
it's my penultimate dropping a house on him.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better than that.
If it doesn't end like that, we will make it end like that.
Yeah, we will make this campaign into the sunset with that.
The final battle with the Maw is just going to end with the Maw landing, like, just being killed and landing on Merrick, obviously.
Yeah, Yuza just takes into the tower. So, Yuza, what'd you call me here for? Okay, so...
Your destiny.
Destiny.
I've been informed of some rumors, and I'm kind of curious to see if they're true.
What's the rumor? That you can't be killed by bludgeoning damage. Can knock you out, but apparently can't kill you.
So on that note, as we are in this room, you find yourselves in the final chamber of the tower. It is a modestly lit room full of workbenches, full of various alchemical reagents and tools for which one can make potions and transmute a variety of other materials. There are spell circles and workbenches for converting materials from one substance to another. A wide bookshelf that seems to extend infinitely through the earth, with a large kind of like runic diagram next to it that allows you to kind of like select the volumes and categories you're looking for, to pull from the vast wealth of knowledge that the transmutation principles and wizards have accrued over the long period of time. But the biggest thing in this room that draws y'all's attention is a large table that is built with illusory magics that you kind of recognize. It seems similar to the apparatus you saw in James Hargrove's castle, as well as the Nachtjager's estate, only on a much smaller scale. It is providing a full, like, illusory layout of the entire tower that you are in. So you're basically looking at like a hologram of the tower.
James's?
No, this one.
This one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing they're doing.
And you see that there are two blinking lights indicating where you all are at the very bottom of the tower. But you also notice one thing that is really interesting to you all. The tower, while being like a cylinder of stone, comprised of a variety of rooms, you see like within this cylinder all these like individual like cubes and squares of like these rooms are moving independently and consistently like shifting around almost on a timed interval. And as you go like further and further up, you notice as well that like it seems to branch out almost into the surrounding city, with there being large like tubes and tunnels at the very kind of like top ring of the tower that connect to various mines and research facilities in the city, so that miners can just drop their resources down into these tubes, and they will be filtered down into the tower, where they're then funneled off into various rooms and chambers for the exclusive use of the transmutation principle. While by that same token, those in the scholarly like research or like wizardry sector that drop their things down get all filtered down to this bottom chamber, where they're either added and organized into the library, or they're filtered into one of the various treasure rooms hidden about the tower.
Interesting.
They're like illusory labels for each room.
The rooms aren't necessarily like labeled, but they are color coordinated, and there's like an index on the like there's a large like plaque that stands at the front of the table that has like an index that is color coded for each thing. Orange is resources, yellow is just like the standard rooms, red are trap rooms, blue are magic item storage, as well as like spell scroll storage, and lastly, blue are rooms of great importance, of which there are only 4 in the tower, and you're standing in one of them.
Well, this is interesting. Magic items, huh?
What?
Like, one of those rooms has, like, a bunch of magic items?
So, is there some sort of, like, apparatus or device to where I could control the structure and the movement of the rooms?
Yeah, there's a orb to the left of the to the right of the index that has a bunch of runes in Draconic written on it. It's similar to the Rubik's Cube y'all first encountered. You assume that by moving and manipulating the runes, you can change the layout of the towers. Additionally, there is written on the like just above the orb, saying like this orb is the initial. It was the original means by which transmutation principles manipulated the Earth itself to change the layout of their tower, we have since upgraded it to touchscreen. So if Yuza just like literally touches the illusion on like and pokes a room and then decides to move it, like it'll move where Yuza moves it.
Okay, then let's bring those 3 other important rooms here.
Like Kilkias has had 16 years. He's really past this archaic orb shit. He's like, give me a touchscreen.
Fair enough.
Let's streamline this process.
Man invented touchscreen.
Well, he didn't invent them, but he adapted them. Touchscreen like illusions have been a thing since like the mid 5th age. It's just they're not widely used.
Okay, let's take those 3 other blue important rooms and bring them here.
Yeah, you bring them down here, and they land on various sides of the room you're currently in as new doorways open up in the walls around you. And it almost seems like the room itself, like that you're in, seems to like the layout of it changes as tables are pushed to the side. The bookshelf is kind of like shifted to a different like section of the room, almost to clear space for the new rooms sliding into place. Through one of the archways, you see the Rubik's Cube that you initially encountered earlier. Through another archway, you see a set of private bed chambers full of a lot that have like a desk, a small like private bookshelf, various other notes, and across the entirety of the walls are like scrawlings in runic. It's almost like, you know those like rooms that have like those like chalkboard paint walls? It's kind of like that.
Okay.
Like, because with transmutation you can easily just like reset a wall, so you can write down whatever you want on the walls, like scroll down like notes, thoughts, things like that, get things out of your head, and then like once you've got it transcribed somewhere, you can just boom, like reset the wall. And the last and final room is a large pool that I will say, Avok, you are very familiar with.
More spike pits.
Nope. This is a large pool of glittering blue liquid that I will say is not native to Kraggzeit. And it looks like this is a recent addition. Like, everything in this room looks new. But this pool is full of a substance that, Avok, you have encountered once before during your travels across Varianis. This is what is known as Ethereum. It is used in the kingdom of Aetherforge in order to make very powerful magic items and weapons with this living liquid of magical conduits. So it is, you're basically used as staring at a pool of what is essentially liquid codified magic.
This is a lot of it.
It is the size of a like standard above ground pool.
Damn.
So it's pretty big. Like it's like a vat almost.
Yuza, we need to make sure that the Inquisition can use this. This might be useful against the Maw. Am I aware of the properties that it gives weapons?
You know that Ethereum is malleable. It is not something that just like imbues a specific property onto an item. Ethereum, when worked through an item or weapon or armor, follows the thought line and process of the craftsman in order to imbue the desired properties. It's not like it will automatically do whatever you're thinking. Like, if you're like, I want to make an armor that is resistant to all forms of damage and, like, can't be hurt, and it's just the best armor ever. Like, it's not going to do that. But what it will do is it will read your thought process, find what desires you want for the item, and follow those instructions to the best of its ability.
Right. So it's like, man, I want my sword to be able to catch fire. It could, in theory, create a flame tongue.
It could, in theory, create a flame tongue, or it could literally just create a sword that is living fire.
Oh, shit. That is...
like a sunblade, but fire.
Yeah.
That is bad fucking ass.
Yeah, Ethereum, essentially, like... And it's not like... I will say this, like, Ethereum is used in 3 methods, because while you spent time in Aetherage, you learned that there are 3 methods by which people use Ethereum. Either they use it during the quenching process of forging a weapon in order to imbue that weapon with the magical property they desire it for. The other option is that they literally infuse it into the item as they're crafting with it, almost like with a stencil or a pen. And the last thing that they do is that there is a means by which to crystallize Ethereum, like to turn it into a literal crystal. And then once the item is finished, they will shatter said crystal over the item while thinking about the enchantment they want to imbue it in. And as the crystal shatters, it turns into a powder that becomes sucked into the item and imbues it with the property that is desired.
That is badass. Usually, do you think we can get this to the Inquisition?
Yuza thinking about all the potential uses of this bit.
Yeah! She's thinking about more than the Inquisition, right?
I've been fighting, like, trying to prepare to fight them off for a while. I agree, we should use it for as many goods as possible. I'm just saying, I should ask first, can we please use this to try and fight them all?
That is the ultimate goal, because, hey, it's the fucking end of the campaign.
Also, if it doesn't matter if we use it for anything else, if the mod destroys everything.
Yeah. I mean, but what if we used it to, like, build a box?
And keep them all in it.
Yeah. It's like a companion cube of Maw.
I will say this, the amount of Ethereum it would take to create said cage is more than you currently have.
Probably more than exists.
Yeah.
It's fine. We'll just use this Ethereum to make more Ethereum.
Ah, I like the way you think.
You know, in all my years of like, this is a really cool resource that I should introduce to my world, and like, I think it'd be cool for my players to be like, wow, there's this cool liquid magic that literally imbues anything with like magical properties and can be used as like a resource or fuel, kind of like gasoline, but it's finite, so you know, it'd be like, there's a limit to what we can use it for. And never once did I think that my players would just be like, we'll use the Ethereum to make more Ethereum. Like...
Walker, that reminds me.
I had finite rules on what this could do, and, like, technically you could make more of a substance that looks like Ethereum, but it wouldn't be Ethereum.
Walker,
I know.
we had the same encounter with a player. Like, he was trying to create a powerful weapon, and, like, Storm listed off, materials in his world that could be used, and he was like, you can find this material, but it's, like, Fey Oak. But it's extremely rare. Like, it's only been crept into many weapons, like, hinting that, like, we could, like, get it through loop drops from finding powerful enemies and stuff like that. And Storm left to use the bathroom, and while he's gone, the player's, like, looking over his notes about that, and he just looks up with this, eureka face, like, I got it. He looks at all of us and just goes, time travel. I was like, you took this 5 extra steps too far.
Task failed successfully.
Like, Storm comes back to all of us at the table laughing. He's like, what I missed? It's like, do not open that box.
So yeah, you've got
Walker.
You've got Kilkias' private chambers and the pool of Ethereum.
Can't tell me that if I got the power of the conjuration principle,
Oh no.
that I couldn't conjure more Ethereum.
Much like fossil fuels, the amount of time it takes for this naturally occurring resource to manifest is much longer than the ability to literally conjure forth a substance of pure magic from the ether.
I know. My initial thought was minor conjuration, but then I looked at it because that's just conjure things. But then I just looked at it and it's like, oh, it had to be a non-magical thing I conjure.
Yep.
But what if we get all the schools of magic and Captain Planet all the way through this?
What's the plan originally? What are you talking about?
I think Captain Planet.
You can always, and again, you can always come back to this now that you have, like, traversed the tower, like...
You can literally just teleport to it.
Yeah, you can literally just, like, come back here whenever you want. Additionally, I will say this, like, looking into Kilkias' room, there is literally a teleportation circle on like, the bedroom floor.
Or we could have Merrick go down the slide.
Hey, Merrick's going down the slide one way or another.
Additionally, you could also just move the treasure chamber all the way to the top of the tower. Like, that's another thing you could do.
I mean,
Why are we stupid?
I don't. Yeah, no, it's majorly stupid.
We so dumb.
Oh, I think just having every important thing at the very bottom and just segmenting it off would be the best.
Yeah, you can do that too.
That way we don't get any, like, from any of the locals getting in here.
Like,
because they don't know Kilkias is
impossible
dead
for someone
yet.
to transmute their way here.
Usually just makes, like, a new trap gauntlet, and it's just like, they're never getting through this shit.
I was like, if I separate it from the rest of the tower, there's just earth. There's just dirt. If they're willing to dig, like, 2 miles, go ahead. They've earned it.
They earned it.
So many various traps and mechanics in this transmutation wizard tower. The final solution, a shovel.
Would you be okay if I grabbed, like, a sample of the Ethereum to bring back to the keep?
I mean, if we really want to send it somewhere, I can just teleport it.
No, I mean, just, like, we can keep it wherever you want. I just want to bring a sample back for, like, Noggin and just, like, just to maybe start working on a few small things. I know Tala already has her armor being worked on, but if we...
Okay, so, Walker, how much in, like, gallons would you say this is?
That's a good question.
You said it was the size of an above-ground pool, but I don't know how much water that holds.
It varies.
The two sizes are 48-inch walls, which is almost 3,000 gallons, and then there's a 52-inch wall, which is 3,400 gallons.
Yes.
That's for a 12-foot round pool.
I would say that, yeah, like, we're looking at roughly, like, 3,000 to 3,500 gallons. So you could technically fill up just, like, a milk jug of Ethereum and still not put a dent in this thing.
Yeah.
Avok pulls out a milk jug he always carries with him. Don't ask questions.
Yes, my ration of milk in this milk jug.
Yeah,
you can literally just take your bag of holding, open it, stick it in there, and just let it flow until it's full.
Do you want to try that?
God, no.
Yeah, because if it exceeds the weight, it's gonna burst.
That, and I don't know what's gonna happen when this thing enters a pocket dimension. Is it gonna, like, eat my bag? I don't know. I'm scared.
For all we know, it's already in a pocket dimension.
So yeah, I'm just gonna take a vial and just kind of scoop some of it up.
Alright, sounds good.
And I'm gonna transport the rest of it back to my tower.
How are you doing that?
Well, Avok, you're the big, strong one. Can you go put it on the teleportation circle?
I was. This is like a pool of, like, liquid material.
The strong thing I did was like a once a day thing. I don't think I can do that again.
And the only thing I have left is teleport. which is fine. There's a teleportation circle in the other room.
Well, I have. Hold on, let me double check something.
The question is, where do I put
I,
it?
I will be very frank. Getting the entirety of this pool of liquid out of here is not currently conceivable for you all.
Yeah, I agree.
It will have to remain in its location, because if you try and teleport it out, I will openly state that it's going to have a lot of unforeseen consequences for you and potentially for the wall of reality.
I'm cool with hey, you know what? New idea. Let's leave it here. I don't think we can say. Let's just leave it here.
I mean, you could come back for it at any time, and seeing as y'all are like 14th level characters, 15th level characters, and it still took you a while to get down here, and potentially could have died twice, like, a level 3 dude walking in here is not gonna leave here alive.
Watch, that level 3 dude has the luckiest fucking rolls. Like, I'm a mastermind.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna cut off the doorway.
Go for it.
You can do that.
Basically the outer dome. Like, it's not gonna go any further beyond that.
Yuza just pulls out like the eraser feature on her touchscreen and just like like the door's just gone.
I'll let the rest of the tower operate as normal, so the town can still function.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything's automated. Like, you can select rooms and move them on a new pattern, but for the most part, like, everything will resume automation except for like certain rooms. So like these rooms of importance seem like they are static fixtures. You can move them around however you want. But like the resource rooms and things like that are going to keep moving around, and the trap rooms are also going to keep moving around.
Okay, then yeah, I'm gonna take some of the liquid back with me as well.
All right, sounds good.
Cheers. No.
Glug glug glug. And yeah, the last thing left down here with you outside of the room full of like the workbench, the library, and alchemical supplies is Kilkias' room.
I pour through his books in this room.
Likewise, I will provide help.
Cool. Make me a history check. And I'll say this: both of you can make me a history check at advantage.
Oh shit!
Okay. So wait, Walker, the thing I am specifically looking for something in here.
In his, so you're specifically looking for something in his room.
Yes.
Cool. And Avok, are you also looking in Kilkias' room, or are you looking through the library in the like central control room?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Even with advantage, I was terrible. I rolled a natural 1 and a 3. I got 5 total.
This floor is made of floor.
My god.
Book is made of paper. No, wait. It's adamantine.
Avok is just cautiously walking.
Kilkias has had a habit of turning everything into adamantine.
Avok just poking the floors, prepared for more pits of spikes.
Also, Red, at least now we know how he was able to make a thing that could kill a god.
Fail!
Dude had a bunch of liquid magic.
You had magic in a cup.
I will say this: it like to steal this from Aetheridge took a lot of his abilities and resources.
I'm sure. But yeah, I am specifically looking for his spell book was the spell clone. I'm sure there's one here. Or it's kept in a demi-plane like I was. I'm looking for any mention of those places so I can get it.
Cool deal.
History or
yeah, it was history with advantage, I believe, is what I. I mean, and like I said, like in his spell book, there is the spell like clone alongside Feeble Mind, Demi-Plane, and Anti-Magic Field.
That's how I learned demi-plane.
Nice. So are you looking for the spell clone, or are you looking for like his research notes?
Oh, I'm trying to find his actual clone.
Ah, gotcha.
If he has a spell, I don't know why he wouldn't already have one set up.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll say that looking through his room.
By the way, that's 20 history.
20 history, okay. Looking through his room, you see a lot of like various research notes and scrawlings, as well as like information about the project that he was working on. I would say this, despite having the spell clone in his spell book, you will know that like even with having a clone, it would not be usable to him, as now the Raven Queen has his soul as her bitch.
I know.
However, you also do note that you find his personal journal.
Oh shit.
This is gonna be heavy.
And there are a variety of entries, just ripe for the reading. With a 20 history, though, you kind of like flip through it. A lot of stuff in here is just like more or less like opinions or like writings. Like a lot of his notes that he has, he's kept in his spell book. But these are more of like his personal thoughts. So a lot of the earlier stuff is just him like leaving the Astral Sea to go on like minor quests or raids or like to expand his knowledge. Like it's a lot of just, I went to this place, I did a thing. And it goes like that for a couple of years, and his journal dates back all the way to like the like early 3000s. So roughly like a good couple hundred years, where he's been going back and forth between the Astral Sea and our world. However, it starts really defining itself around, I'd say, about the 3600s, where he talks about meeting a incredibly skilled necromancer who was trying to unravel the means by which death and dying could be defied. And his efforts to aid them in their research. He doesn't provide a name for this person, only stating them as the Master. And his next few journal entries kind of like talk about like their various experiments with necromancy and the necromantic energies. Of course, like he can only, as Gith do like have a more or less standard aging process. I think they only live for like a couple hundred years and then they die, if that. He does return to the Astral Sea relatively frequently to kind of like halt his own aging process, coming back, I'd say like every 40 or 50 years. During which time his master kind of ages relatively quickly, as much of their research ends up becoming lost. He does his best to preserve what their legacy is, and pass it on to new necromancers that he meets to kind of like continue the tradition. As while Kakais is not a necromancer himself, he does feel that by having someone else essentially do the grunt work for him, he could find a way to he himself defy death, to continue his personal research however he wishes. And this culminates until about 3800, where the Great War, so the Great War begins in about 3779, and he speaks briefly on it, as he's like, the realms of the material plane concern themselves with these petty conflicts that amount to nothing in the vaster scheme of an uncaring multiverse that would seek to unravel all their work. It just kind of talks about the futility of it, and then he leaves and comes back around. Let's see. He comes back around 3815, about a year before the principals fully establish themselves, and talks about meeting someone he refers to as the Great Master. Which I think this is where we'll start the actual like narration of his diary. He's like, "I'm meeting with the Great Master today, and they have solved the equation that my master once set out before me, and found a way to defy death, not in the convention that I was expecting, but in a means that would allow me as well to extend my own lifespan past its natural end date. However, the one thing that I found odd is that they called my master's work lacking in vision, and upon enlightening me to their own insights onto the nature of death and the soul, I realized that my scope of purview on the natural progression of life and its untimely end was equally flawed. Many pursue immortality to preserve their own life, or will even seek out lichdom in order to find an undying way to continue their arcane endeavors long past the natural mortality of which would claim them. However, through the act of cloning, one can preserve their legacy without deterring their natural field of mortality. However, it is brief in regards to one containing true immortality, and the cost is great. So they have advised me of a new type of magic that they have unearthed from the Great Third Age, known as Soul Pact magic, and through it, one can not only find a way to defy death, but crystallize what their soul, their individuality is, and defy the very gods themselves. I find it as a very enlightened concept, and hope to seek more in their study. Then the next entry is a year later, where Kokaya states, "The Great Master and I have done it. We have worked tirelessly alongside two other individuals who are considered their apprentice to create what I feel to be the greatest invention to be used by our kind. It is still in its test phases, and will be quite a few many years before it is widely circulated amongst the other principles. But with this amulet and the crystallized essence of souls contained within, we can defy the natural order of Arcanum and seek higher heights of which to attain power and bend the world to the will of the caster. This will allow us to rebuild and reshape Kraggzeit as we see fit, and could grant a great many boons to those who can understand its deeper machinations." Intivar scoffs at how trivial it is now, but I can tell that they are already thinking past this amulet to what it could be in the future if they can codify its great works. Right now, Camilla is... I think I've got the right name. Let me pull up my documents before I start spouting my mouth off. Yeah. Camilla is hard at work gathering new people all the time and getting them ready for the inevitable conversion from physicality into distilled soul, which we shall contain within stones that I have named Philosopher's Stones, but they are quite far from the true distillation of essence. They are more soul crystals, through which a large container of souls may be housed. The other has many objections to our ethics in this, but he has also not been so abject to deny the gifts that we have been given and the work that we are doing alongside Intivar. So we shall see what becomes of these objections as we delve deeper into the greater works to be found. And the next entry picks up around 3820, where it states, "We have finally done it. In creating our first prototypes of the amulets, we have distilled them further than what we ever could have thought possible, and given each of them a purpose, which we have handed out to principals that we deem worthy of holding the spot over these old fools that have long held the status quo. While Intivar tells me my time will soon come to be a principal in my own right, I am not yet ready to take on the burden of responsibility. Although I find this trivial and foolish, as Camilla has been given her first run as the enchantment principal, and seems to hold many in her sway. The idea that others would betray her is highly unlikely, but the fact that she was gifted her powers before myself is ludicrous, to say the least. If there's any solace I can take, it is that the other, Galleon, he kind of like writes it, like he almost writes it with like audible disgust.
Writes it in Comic Sans.
Yeah, it shall not be receiving his amulet until Intivar is assured of his loyalties to the greater cause. My only concern is that some of these people we have chosen are rubes and will be, in the grander scheme of things, failures against Intivar's vision for what Kraggzeit can be. We will just have to wait and see how things play out. And then it skips ahead to about 3830, where he says, "Wait, one question: how old is Yuza? Or like biologically?"
I think we said she was early 20s.
Gotcha. So 3830. He's like, "I have finally seized the throne of Transmutation Principal and intend to hold it for Intivar. The other principals are growing distrustful of the plan, and Camilla has gotten some ideas in her own head about free will, and due to Galleon's tempering ear, has begun to question the greater motives that we hold for the principals. I feel that the influence will begin to spread amongst the others, and time will tell who will inevitably be on our side. I have advised Intivar that Galleon must be taken care of, as his consistent objections to our plan become problematic. Intivar insists that he is soon going to be ready to take over as Divination Principal, and at that time, he will be her right hand. Something that truly sickens me to my core. In other news, Subject 13 has been eliminated, and Subject 14 is now in quick preparation for their new home. Although my doubts of Galleon's allegiance still remain, the fact that he swiftly terminated Subject 13 proves that he can be trusted, at least with menial tasks. And then a lot of his personal notes over the next few years are just like rants and ramblings about like politics and how he's getting frustrated with like having to run things here, and how people like keep doing the exact opposite of what he tells them to do. Like, he's just like basically just like, God, all these bitches, incompetent motherfuckers. I'm stuck with idiots. Until about 3842, when he writes, Intivar has vanished. They left a long time ago, leaving behind their amulet for anyone who is brazen enough to claim it, and this new whelp now claims the amulet, calling himself the Necromancy Principal. But in these last 2 years, he has tried my patience far beyond what I thought was conceivable. In addition, the new divination principle seems to be getting along well, though I know not their identity nor their purpose. The fact that they emerged from the Tower of Urion proves interesting, as no one saw anyone matching their description ever entering. So to the unique nature of this individual, I am intrigued, to say the least. I will have to do as much research as possible before I can divine the nature of who they are and what they decide to serve. And then skipping forward to, because I believe you handled this before the start of our 2-year time skip. But we'll say like 3843. He's like, the Necromancy Principal has died, and his estates in White Plains have been plundered. This new divination principle proves intriguing, and given first-hand descriptions of the conflict between principles, I am confident in stating that this divination principle, I believe, has some ties to Intivar, whether they are a creation of theirs that was newly released in order to cement their influence, or are an old experiment that Galleon did not deal with, remains to be seen. Nevertheless, I know that upon meeting them, I shall discover their true intentions and find out just what really they are. To think that I have had some hand in their creation is enticing, and I wish to probe further to see what they are truly capable of. And that's his last journal entry before his talk about the plan with the Raven Queen.
Several times in reading that, Yuza had to mark it with her thumb but close the book. Just take a moment. That just became more frequent the more she read.
Yeah. The one thing you do glean, though, as you look through all this, is that while Kilkias knows the clone spell because he worked to codify the research on it and invent it alongside Intivar and her other students, he seemed to have a great level of contempt for the spell itself, and while knowing it, had sworn to never practice it. So, congratulations! There's no clone that you have to destroy.
You okay?
At least that's one more dilemma taken care of. Sets it down.
Ava just comes over and puts a hand on her shoulder.
It's weird reading the history of your own creation. Even weirder reading the proclamations that led your parents to it.
Suppose you're right. Did you at least get the answers you were looking for?
No. Caius does not have a clone prepared for himself.
Why?
I was thinking about giving it to one of them.
Well, why wouldn't he use this kind of spell?
Apparently, just didn't like the practice of it.
He was going to go kill God, but he drew the line at a clone. I don't think I'll understand wizards.
We're not an easy bunch to understand.
I will say this for the sake of like narrative relevance. It's not that he like was like, oh, this is an abhorrent practice that I will not do. It's literally the only reason he didn't make clones of himself is he didn't see it as true immortality.
Red the player gets that, just Avok doesn't see the difference.
Fair enough.
Wasn't what he wanted.
He wanted the blue one, not the red one.
I don't want this immortality, I want the other one. It's not the same.
Apparently, my mother, well, one of them, both of them, I guess, are the mad creatures who created these pendants.
Maybe she knows how to undo it. Give them back their bodies.
Maybe, but I doubt. No. There's no way she'd do that.
Do what?
Store them. Hey, I doubt she really cared what happened to their physical bodies after she got them.
Given
I
how
doubt
she,
they're preserved anywhere.
given how she treated yours, that makes sense.
Using his notes about the research that was being done, but essentially me, could I get a number of how many subjects there were total?
The last note he left was that they were up to number 26 before Antivar left. At first, subjects would last a number of years. However, as research continued and they began to learn more, and the process became more and more streamlined, subjects would last a lot shorter time periods of months, weeks, even days.
Or being deemed failures.
Mm-hmm.
It never specified that subject 26 was a success.
Yep.
Specified that.
I will say this. You from the notes you gathered, you know that like Camilla was initially on board. They seem to have had, or at least a while ago, the last like note that Kilkias left is that they seem to be having like a change of heart about the research. You don't know how true that is now.
Yeah, I'd have to meet them.
Another thing I will say that you do notice, I will give you one more investigation check with advantage.
Okay. That's a natural one. Let's reroll that. That's a natural 20.
Why do you sound so sad?
Because I'm sure this is about to make me cry.
I mean, you're right on that. As you look at the journal of Kilkias's like notebook, you realize that it lines up with a symbol that he has etched in his wall. As you move around the room and kind of like match symbols, which you realize you've seen all throughout the tower itself, two symbols that he's drawn across the wall, you realize very quickly that this is a form of code. And it outlines the schedule by which they move Garion around. Or, sorry, God, I keep butchering his name.
Galleon.
Galleon Paravos.
Alien.
So you realize the schedule by which they move him around, and realize that if at this current schedule is correct, he is currently stationed at the Evocation Principles city, the Rumbling Mountains. You know that you can go and attempt to rescue him. I will say that you know that the Evocation Principle, first off, knows who you are and is one of the only principles that knows your true identity. And on top of that, his city is very well defended. However, one thing you do notice is that in about a month and a half's time, he is going to be moved to Camilla's city, the City of Enchantment. And seeing as she was kind of on the fence, she might be more easy to convince to hand him over.
Yep. She doesn't like the fact that he's still playing along with this. Oh, at least there's a small comfort that Tavar isn't personally holding him.
Oh, yeah.
At least right now. So, no, it's been gone for a long time. They would have known if they were trading him around.
So what's the play?
How long until then? You said about a month?
Month and a half.
Month and a half. How long till the clan?
The deadline is a month, but y'all can arrive there early and kind of settle business, or you can arrive right on time.
We still have Clan Wars and the Lighthouse to attend to. I think
Merrick's
Merrick's currently attending the lighthouse.
Right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Right as y'all are in this tower, Merrick is in the lighthouse.
Yeah. He might already be done. I get, because obviously, like, made new demiplanes whenever they got a new subject, because otherwise they would have brought in subject 14 and been like, why the fuck is this still here? Get this out. Unless he just made his own pocket for me.
I think that might be more likely. He made that to protect you.
So, does that seem coherent from the notes?
From what you can tell,
it was a single demiplane that they just cleared out.
From what you can tell, it was a single demiplane that they consistently cleared out. However, as they began getting into the higher digits, once they basically got
hitting 20.
Yeah, once they start hitting 20, they moved it to a different a more functional lab rather than a demiplane. Occasionally moving resources back and forth between the demiplane that they originally had, but it more or less became abandoned, which you can figure is how Galleon was able to hide you.
So I was in the demiplane they used.
Originally, yes.
It was just taken out for a while until they abandoned it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there we go. So I was the only one he saved.
Potentially.
I mean, only other place we would have kept them is this tower, which is my tower.
Yeah, but like I said, there's still plenty of places in it you haven't explored.
Ah,
He's been at your tower this whole time.
I've been keeping my brothers and sisters inside my own fucking tower.
Oh God.
Yuza just finally is like, all right, I've reached 99% exploration. Just that final 1% throws open the door. It's just a bunch of like clones playing cards. It's like, hey, 13, we were wondering when you were gonna get here. And you're just like,
Rec Room in Men in Black.
Yeah.
you're just like, are you kidding me? Why didn't y'all escape? We didn't want to. We had cards and food.
For a place that only makes illusions, this place makes some realistic food.
Make some pretty solid food. Would you like some holographic meatloaf? Holographic
God
meatloaf,
damn it.
my favorite.
God damn it.
But yeah, anything else anything else that y'all would like to do while you're here?
I think I'm good. What about you, Yuza?
I mean, there's Walker just gave me like 8 other things I want to do.
I will say this, y'all do have an indeterminate amount of time before the group all reconvenes to go to Clan Wars, so I'll say minimum I'm going to give y'all 2 weeks, maximum we'll be looking at a month.
Yeah.
So y'all can let me know what you want to do in the meantime, and we can make some rolls to see if it happens.
I know one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna I don't know who the Abjuration Principle is or what they look like, so I can't scry them. I can scry Elf. Forget her name.
Sure thing. Do you want to scry the elf right now? Sure thing.
This place is warded against scrying, so if they...
So yeah, they won't be able to look back at you, but they will definitely if they're anything
if they notice.
If they're anything like the other divination principle, they might notice. Anyway, yeah, you cast scrying on them. I will say this.
We'll do this every day up until we leave if I have to.
You see a... Let me pull up my description. You see a beautiful elven woman who seems to be rather young by elvish standards. Long blonde hair braided back in like a ponytail with a long flowing kind of like green, almost like dress like robes. And the necklace she has is very similar to yours, but unlike the crystal in it is almost more like a ruby red mirror. And as she is, as you cry on her, she seems to be sitting in a tent, kind of like detailing her appearance and kind of like going over as well some like documents. Before someone enters the tent with her, and you see it as a kind of slender satyr woman wearing kind of like some, not necessarily rags, but it's like a kind of like almost tribal style like fabric, as they are covered in like various like paints and markings, and they begin speaking to the elven woman in a foreign language you do not understand. But I will say this, you've definitely heard it before.
Heard it before.
Yep.
I don't know Elvish, so if it's Elvish...
It's not Elvish. It's a language you don't understand, but you have heard before. I will say this, not to be like, oh, you make a history check, you figured out. It's a recent thing. The last place you heard this was the Conclave of Courts. The specific language being spoken here, you heard being spoken by the members of Clan Ergidland when they were talking amongst each other during their discussion with Merrick.
Okay.
Is that giant?
No, it is its own language.
Oh.
I specifically developed a language for the Clan Wars.
In other words, Red. People that talk to Merrick are from her town.
Nope.
That the people that wait, she's in. Wait, Camilla. Are we supposed to negotiate with her?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fucking.
You now, as her name is now said in this conversation, you realize that she is referred to by the satyr woman as Camilla LeFay. And she is their. As your scry sensor watches her, she steps up out of their tent and moves out. With this satyr woman in tow, your scry sensor kind of moving behind them. As you find yourselves in the midst of a very large kind of war camp where a bunch of members of the clan she is representing are working on various things. Their fighters are getting ready for a inevitable conflict, and she seems to be coordinating some efforts on her own end. Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Wait, this is one of the principals?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is
This is my other mother.
Oh god, fuck.
Been sitting on that for almost a year.
Fuck.
It's coming full circle.
Quickly, Robin, shine the fuck signal.
God fucking damn it.
We got you, this bitch.
Yeah, you have to diplomatically negotiate with this person.
No. Oh
For
no.
more than one thing now.
Yeah, you gotta get them to sign on with Clan Ergidland, and you've also gotta get them to be like, hey, give me your fucking necklace.
No, it's not. No, not necessarily that. But it's hey, can I have my dad back, please?
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, there's
1, we want Dad. 2, the necklace. 3, peace, I guess.
Peace.
In that order.
In order of importance to me, Yuza.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say this. Is there anything else you would like to do before we wrap this mini session?
Ascending shit talk right now.
Merrick. Hey, Merrick. Got some news for you.
You're never gonna believe this, man.
Yo, man. Shit's fucked.
Nothing that has to do with pertaining to this tower, I don't believe.
All right. Well,
That was just it, right? There was nothing specific items or anything.
I mean, you can loot the tower in your free time. I'll give you a list of what you all find within.
Huzzah!
Because you all, again, have 2 weeks here in Kraggzeit to gather information. 2 weeks minimum to gather information, gather resources, and just, re-up Yurion's defenses. At maximum, you have 1 month, depending on how long things would take with other people.
Red, I might as well tell you this. Yuza has basically her own principles under her that sort of work as a fulcrum against her. They believe that she is turning into one of them, or to kill her.
Oh.
But if she doesn't, then her plan was to have them take control of each of the towers.
Well, okay then.
They have gone through extensive interrogation to make sure they are morally good people. Of truths, detecting thoughts, all that shit.
On that note, I'm going to go ahead
On the
and
regular.
end the recording real quick. Thank you all for tuning into this special quick shot of Platinum Watch. We hope you all enjoyed this little mini session. And when we return to our regular scheduled programming here in a couple sessions, we'll be laying witness to the arc known as the Brethren Court, where Tala and Rando will be embarking to try and handle their business, while the rest of the party kind of we might like hop back and forth between what they're doing and what the rest of the party is kind of like engaging in, just because like due to scheduling conflicts we gotta certain people can only really make it to our regularly scheduled like Sunday games, so we're just gonna have that be like their main session, and we might pop away every now and then like as a brief intermission to kind of like cover what someone else is doing, then pop right back. But until then, I have been your Dungeon Master Walkman EXE. As always, my amazing role players and candid characters are Vexdal24 playing Yuza Peric.
Bye.
And Red Beast 13 playing Avok Korik. As always, I am your Dungeon Master, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye-bye!